Hello, Accounting Superstars. Welcome to the Accounting Superstar channel. This is Professor Don Bush. I've been teaching accounting for about 30 years, been a CPA for about that long, and I've got great ways to explain accounting. Those folks that are in their very first accounting class, this is the perfect lesson for you. This is about adjusting entries, and adjusting entries are kind of difficult when you're first learning them. They're a little tricky, and everybody struggles with them. So if you're having a hard time in this chapter, usually chapter 3 in your accounting textbook, if you're having a rough time, you're normal. I struggled with them when I was in school. Everybody does. So, but you'll get them. They're not that hard once you get the hang of it. So, hey, I want to announce that I've got a website called accountingsuperstars.com, and I've got all my videos, all my accounting videos organized so you can look things up by topic, and it's accountingsuperstars.com, so it should be up and running by tomorrow, and check it out, so that way in case you want to look up specific videos, it'll be a lot easier for you. So here we go. We've got when we get to a construction. They are building a lot of homes, a lot of buildings, and they have a supplies inventory. Now, their supplies inventory consists of things like 2x4s and plywood and paint and nails and just a lot of miscellaneous things that are left over from jobs. And whenever the company buys such things, they debit supplies inventory. In the last example, they debited supplies expense. But in this case, the bookkeeper, for whatever reason, whenever they buy supplies, the bookkeeper just debits supplies inventory. All right, so here's the problem, is that during the year, the total amount of supplies that were purchased was $4,000, right there, $4,000. And sure enough, it's reflected in their account as a debit in supplies inventory. And this is an asset. Now here's the problem. At the end of the year, an employee went around and counted the supplies and estimated the value of the supplies on hand to not be $4,000, but only be $500. So here's a big question. So if they bought $4,000 and they only have $500 left, how much did they use up? Well, it's real easy. It's $3,500. There you go. So what we need to do is we need to adjust these accounts to reflect that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to decrease the supplies inventory by $3,500. Here we go, $3,500. And that'll bring the balance down to $500, which is what we want. Now, debits and credits need to balance, and we have a credit here of $3,500, so we need a debit. And so we'll debit supplies expense. Now, expenses means that you're consuming the resources, that they're being used up. And that's in fact what happened, is they used up $3,500. So our debits equal our credits here. So what would be the journal entry that the accountant would make here at the end of the year to adjust these accounts? Well, it'd be real easy. It'd be supplies expense $3,500 and supplies inventory a credit for $3,500, and it just reflects what we did up here. So there's your journal entry. And coming down the page here, I've got just a small little worksheet. Years ago, accountants used to use these a lot. They're not used, I don't know if they're even used at all anymore, but I thought they were valuable, and I think they help people learn how accounting works. So all I'm going to do is just show you by way of this worksheet how the accounts are affected. And in fact, it's going to reflect these T accounts up here. In fact, what you see in these T accounts is exactly what you'll see down here below. So here's what's going on. The unadjusted trial balance, supplies inventory had a balance of $4,000, and sure enough, there's the $4,000. And supplies expense didn't have any balance at all at the very start before any adjustments. So what we're doing is we're debiting supplies expense for $3,500. So let's put that right here. If you're wondering where that come from, it came from right up here. Debiting supplies expense for $3,500. And then we're crediting supplies inventory for $3,500. So here's a credit. There we are. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to slide across here horizontally. So supplies inventory, the unadjusted trial balance is $4,000. We're crediting that account for $3,500. That leaves us with a balance of $500. Now, how did I know that it was a debit or a credit? Well, the debits are bigger. We have a debit of $400 and then a credit of $3,500. That leaves us with a debit of $500. They offset one another. And then lastly, we have to decide, well, where does this $500 go? Does it go on the income statement or does it go on the balance sheet? And hopefully by now that you know that only two things go on the income statement. That's it, two things. Revenue and expenses, that's it. And supplies inventory isn't either one of those. So it's got to go on the balance sheet. And by the way, supplies inventory is an asset, and assets go on the balance sheet. So here you go. So $500 is sent to the balance sheet. Now, supplies expense, it starts out with nothing in the unadjusted trial balance, but we're debiting it for $3,500. So on the unadjusted trial balance, we'll put here $3,500. All right. Nothing plus $3,500 is $3,500. So the next question is, well, where does supplies expense go to? Does it go on the income statement or the balance sheet? Well, as mentioned, only two things go on the income statement, revenues and expenses. That's it. And supplies expense is an expense, so we're going to send that to the income statement. Now, this is just a partial worksheet here. It's not the whole thing. And so if you're wondering, well, it doesn't look like your debits and credits balance here. This doesn't make sense. Since this is only just a little piece of the puzzle here, the debits and credits aren't going to balance. Because look at this. We've got income statement, debit of $3,500, balance sheet, debit of $500. You might be wondering, where are the credits? Well, this is just a partial worksheet. All right. So I hope this helped you out. Check out that website, accountingsuperstars.com, if you want to see more of these videos, and it'll be easier for you to find them. So if this video helped you, you know the drill. Hey, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. That way YouTube will know that these videos are valuable, and YouTube will bring them up for other people. So until next time, over and out.